example, I'm a huge fan of Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
And I was so obsessed with the series, I had to do something from it, even though, I mean, I don't look very good in
Personally, I think she'd make a fantastic Mugen.
Mugen is my favorite. I also love Jean. Fuko's in third, but I still like her. And I'm terrible in kimono, but I love the series so much. I was like, I'm going to do it, so I did Fu for that. And then there's certain characters that I just like so much. I have to I want to do the character, even if I'm not that interested in the costume. Like Integra Helsing.
Okay. Nice.
I want to be her. I'm waiting one day to wake up and find myself that I've either turned into her or Miss Piggy.
Because she's fantastic. For me, it's really about the same thing. Well, you're the Galactic Fairy. You're allowed to. You can have a camera. I mean, a microphone all the time. No, well, as far as choosing a costume goes, for me, it really depends on what I'm into at the time. Sometimes it's the costume design, or I'm a fan of the artist. And so I really, if y'all are familiar with Kyung Tae Kim, a Korean artist, I've done 5 of his costumes because his art is so exciting and so much fun and so challenging. It's frustrating but exciting at the same time. So those, even if I don't know about the character so much as the series or anything like that, I have a great time doing those. Otherwise, it could be for the love of the character, like Yukari from Paradise Kiss. Love Paradise Kiss. I am far too short to be Yukari, but I did it anyway. So, yeah, I mean, stuff like that. It really runs the gamut. So,
I was just going to add in one thing that I noticed, a lot of people tend to have types that they do, or things.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I mean, you pick the stuff for any number of reasons, but then when you look at your gallery at the end of the day, you're like, I think I have a shtick. For me, I apparently can't see a ball gown I don't want to make. And I tend to do either those or men's military type uniforms and stuff. And pretty much everything I choose winds up having some sort of historical thing, even if it's just retro 60s or
absolutely,
it's 1960s, 1860s, it's all good. But I really like old stuff. Sorry, and now I give the microphone back to Renee.
There are certain character elements, design elements that always appeal to me. Anyone that likes to dance, I'm drawn to. I also I have to say I have a very similar process with Liz. I will pick something either if I love the character. I normally don't dress up like this, but I love Ikuto so much that I had to do it. There are also things I love Zelda. I love Zelda so much, and I've never really cosplayed from it. And so a couple years ago, I was playing through Twilight Princess terribly, and it's Rutella, and I was like, oh man, I want to do that because I love the design. She's obviously not an important character, but I love the design so much. And so there's characters that I want to do. I want to do Gwendolyn from Odin Sphere, but then
so many amazingly talented people are jumping on that.
But then the sort of ballet-ish, elegant but strong female character that's sort of graceful is my favorite. But.
Okay.
Nell.
Yeah.
Which do you think is better, homemade or store-bought costume?
The question was, which do you think is better, homemade or store-bought costume?
Well, in my case, I think it's best if there's an element that you can buy. For example, I did Mamimi from Furikuri 100 years ago, and because I knew it would be easier to buy a sweatshirt and just modify it, I did that, and then I made all the rest of the costume. But from a sewing standpoint, I love to sew. I've been doing this forever. So I love being able to sew my own costume and work on it and really put my heart and soul into it and create something new and kind of discover the process to get there. So I'm all about sewing myself, and it's really fun to learn. If you're starting out and you want to start buying costumes or making costumes, it's a really fun thing to try and learn because it allows you to have a lot more creativity, I think.
I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. I mean, don't compete if you have a store-bought costume. That's just rude. Because you can hire anybody to make you a costume, and then it's not really fair to show them. Oh yeah. You can still compete in performance stuff, but just it's not really cool to compete in craftsmanship if you didn't make it yourself. But I'm totally in favor of buying costumes. I mean, people buying costumes keeps India in more costumes.
That is true.
But for me,
I do them.
and I like India, I like to sew so much. It's like all I think about doing, and I like just sit around and look at my dress form and mush fabric around on it all day. I have costumes I've never even worn. Just as
You're insane. Wow, get pictures.
I also have like 17,000 yards of fabric that I've never used. Like, I had to move my husband out of his closet, and I just took it over entirely.
Okay.
Here, let's go to Lauren.
Yeah, you keep talking about the galleries of the costumes. Where can people see the gallery of the costumes?
The question was, where can you see galleries of costumes? And there are several
Your
websites.
costumes.
The online.
On the online, the internet resources, many cosplayers have galleries on cosplay.com. AC Paradise is my favorite because I really like the interface. It's really well set up. It's really well coded. There's also a cosplay lab, and there's Cure. Cure now has an English section. Cure is originally from, it's a Japanese website where all the Japanese cosplayers post all their huge Photoshop, super cute, like eye angle like this. There's
Amazing
MySpace photos. There's also, Brazil is really into cosplays. So if you want to meet Brazilian cosplayers that don't know English, they're really, at least the cosplays. It kind of fizzled here, but it's like really big over there.
Cure is definitely kind of on the up and up, I think, since they started having an English version on the website. We both recently signed up for it, and you've been on it for a while.
Yeah, but I haven't logged in, and no one.
But you should.
No one joined my fan.
I joined your fan club.
Oh, well,
everybody join Renee's fan club.
Are you sure your fan club is active?
I have no idea.
I was very sad for months and months because my fan club had no members, and I realized I hadn't I'd set it up and had opened it up for people to join.
That very well could be the. I set this up when it was in Japanese, and I was like, that's a squiggle dot. I'm gonna click that button. So I have no idea what I'm doing. That's a cool symbol.
Oh, and there's also DeviantArt, where you can put anything over there. I mean, I can make dinner, put it up under culinary arts. It's the weirdest thing because I've started loading like everything I've done onto there, and I'm like, I kind of have some kind of like internet-based multiple personality disorder. So I'm like, photo shoots for completely unrelated things, like throw it all of it, everything in there. Okay. Is it a follow-up?
Yes. So
sorry.
what are your galleries and how do we find them?
I'm Umister. I'm everyone on the internet. Google it.
I'm Dia on most things. Dia, D-I-A, short for India. It's pretty easy to remember. Means day in Spanish.
I'm Fat Wet Dog on just about everything. It's all one word. That's pretty much me. I've got cosplay.com, Cure. I'm not on AC Paradise. A DeviantArt. It just never occurred to me. There are so many of these things. If you have to update every gallery, you're never going. You can't.
Oh yeah, some of them are gonna fall by the wayside. You can't really help it. Next.
How do you process the opposite gender?
Oh, I'm gonna let Renee and Liz answer this one.
So many.
It's asking about how do you cosplay as the opposite gender. So,
Well, crossplay, as it's more commonly known, is one of my favorite things to do because I don't have any boobs, so it's really easy. I also like the tall, lanky, kind of pretty guy. Sometimes they have cat ears. So, you have to know how your body looks and what your natural curves are, and then you have to know, if you're making your costume, how to alter it to eliminate those curves, because if you're, obviously I'm going to come from the perspective of a woman cosplaying as a man. You have to, when you tailor, you swoop, if you're doing a trench coat, you actually want to flare it out a little bit, which will get rid of your hips, and then all of a sudden you look a little bit more lanky. For binding, I don't really have the problem. I put on a sports bra and some AC bandages and I call it a day. It depends on the costume. For my Giorno, well, I didn't have that problem, but my friend Diana, when she cosplayed Giorno is a nice tailored jacket with a heart, right? Oh, let's pull up some pictures of Giorno. Oh, that's me. No. Oh, yeah.
Back.
Go back. That's not me. Yes, that's me. So that's Giorno, and you can see that the chest is open. So actually that's full of wire and plastic to keep it closed. But for my friend Diana, she actually had to tape everything down into the side. She's a D cup. I didn't have that problem. I just zipped up. She's a busty lady. She's also there are two Giornos. It's like her and myself. And there's a what? Oh yeah, there's